This is Hoot Chapter 17, Part 2 here. The police captain was reading the arrest report when Officer Delink and the sergeant came in. The captain motioned for both men to sit down. "Nice work," he told Officer Delink. "You've made my life a whole lot easier. I just got off the horn with Councilman Grandy, and he's one happy camper." "I'm glad, sir," Officer Delink said. "What do you make of this Matheson Kid? What's he told you?" "Not much." The interrogation of Dana Matheson hadn't gone as smoothly as Officer Delink had hoped. In the training films, the suspects always caved in and confessed to their crimes. However, Dana had remained stubbornly uncooperative, and his statements were confusing. At first, he'd said he was snooping around the Mother Paula's property in order to heist a load of Gladiator cigarettes. However, after speaking with a lawyer, the boy changed his story. He claimed he'd actually gone to the trailer to bum a cigarette, but the foreman mistook him for a burglar and came after him with a gun. "Matheson's a hard case," Officer Delink told the captain. "Yeah," the sergeant said. "He's been around the block a few times." The captain nodded. "I saw his rap sheet, but here's what bothers me. The kid's a thief, not a practical joker. I can't picture him dumping alligators in porta-potties, stealing porta-potties maybe." "I wondered about that too," Officer Delink said. The Mother Paula's Vandal had displayed a dark sense of humor that didn't fit the Matheson's boy's dim-witted criminal history. He seemed more likely to strip the wheels from a patrol car than to paint the windshield black or hang his shirt like a pennant from the antenna. "What's his motive for the funny stuff?" Captain wondered out loud. "I asked him if he had a gripe against Mother Paula's pancakes," Officer Delink said, "and he did say IHOPs were better." "That's it? He likes IHOP pancakes better?" "Except for the buttermilks," Officer Delink reported. "He had nice things to say about Mother Paula's buttermilks." Gruffly, the sergeant interjected, "The kid's jerking our chain, is all." The captain pushed back slowly from his desk. He could feel another crusher of a headache coming on. "Okay, I'm making a command decision here," he said. "Considering we've got nothing better to work with, I intend to tell Chief Deacon that the Mother Paula's Vandal has been apprehended. Case closed." Officer Delink cleared his throat. "Sir, I found a piece of shirt at the crime scene, a shirt that's way too small to fit the Matheson boy." He didn't mention that the remainder of the shirt had been tied tauntingly to the antenna of his squad car. "We need more than a rag," the captain grunted. "We need a warm body, and the only one we've got is sitting in juvenile detention. So officially he's our perpetrator, understand?" Officer Delink and his sergeant agreed in unison. "I'm going out on a limb here, so you know what that means," the captain said. "If another crime happens on that property, I'll look like a complete bozo. And if I end up looking like a bozo, certain people around here are going to spend the rest of their careers cleaning dimes out of parking meters. Am I making myself clear?" Again, Officer Delink and his sergeant said yes. "Excellent," said the captain. "So your mission basically is to make sure there's no more surprises between now and the Mother Paula's groundbreaking ceremony on Wednesday." "No sweat." The sergeant rose to his feet. "Can we tell David the good news?" "Sooner the better," said the captain. "Officer Delink, you're back on the road, effective immediately. In addition, the sergeant has a written letter commending the outstanding job you did in capturing our suspect. This will become part of your permanent file." Officer Delink was beaming. "Thank you, sir." "There's more. Because of your experience on this case, I'm assigning you to a special patrol at the Mother Paula's construction site. 12 hours on, 12 hours off, beginning tonight at dusk. You up for that?" "Absolutely, Captain." "Then go home and take a nap," the captain advised, "because if you doze off out there again, I'll be writing a much shorter letter for your file, a termination letter." Outside the captain's office, Officer Delinko's sergeant gave him a hearty slap on the back. 2 nights and we're home free, David. You psyched?" "One question, sir. Will I be on duty out there alone?" "Well, we're hurting on the night shift right now," the sergeant told him. "Kirby got stung by a yellow jacket, and Miller's out with a sinus infection. Looks like you'll be riding solo." "That's okay," Officer Delink said, though he would have preferred to have a partner under the circumstances. Curly probably would be staying at the trailer, though he wasn't the best company. You drink coffee, David? Yes, sir. Good. Drink twice as much as usual, the sergeant said. I don't expect anything to happen, but you'd better be wide awake if it does. On the way home, Officer Delinko stopped at a souvenir shop along the main highway. Then he swung by the Juvenile Detention Center to take one more crack at Dana Matheson. It would be such a relief if the boy admitted to even one of the earlier vandalisms. Dana was brought to the interview room by a uniformed guard who took a position outside the door. The kid was dressed in a rumpled gray jumpsuit with the word inmate stenciled in capital letters across the back. He wore only socks because his toes were still swollen from the rat traps. Officer Delinko offered him a stick of gum, which the kid crammed into his cheeks. So, young man, you've had some time to think. About what? Dana blew a bubble and popped it. You know, your situation. I don't need to think, the boy said. That's how come I got a lawyer. Officer Delinko leaned forward. Forget the lawyers, okay? I'll put in a good word with the judge if you'll just help me clear up some other cases. Are you the one who painted the windows of my patrol car? The boy snorted. Why would I do a dumbass thing like that? Come on, Dana. I can make things easier for you. Just tell me the truth. I got a better idea, the boy said. Why don't you just kiss my big fat butt? Officer Delinko folded his arms. See, that's exactly the sort of disrespect for authority that got you here in the first place. No, man, I'll tell you what got me here. That little dork, Roy Eberhardt, is what got me here. Not this again, Officer Delinko said, rising. Obviously, we're wasting our time. Dana Matheson sneered. Duh. He pointed at the small shopping bag that the patrolman had placed on the table. You finally bring me some smokes? No, but I got you something else. Officer Delinko reached into the bag. A little buddy to keep you company, he said, casually dropping it in the boy's lap. Dana Matheson howled and bucked and tried to knock it away, toppling his chair in the panic. He leapt up from the floor and scrambled out the door, where the guard clamped a brawny hand on his arm and let him off. Officer Delinko was left alone to ponder the object lying on the linoleum tile. Toothy, scaly, and lifelike, except for the $3.95 price sticker glued to its snout. It was a rubber alligator, which Officer Delinko had purchased at the tourist shop. Dana Matheson's reaction to the harmless toy convinced the patrolman that he couldn't possibly be the Mother Paula's Vandal. Anyone so freaked out by a puny fake wasn't capable of handling a real alligator, especially in the forbidding darkness of a traveling Johnny. The true culprit was still out there somewhere, dreaming up a new scheme. Officer Delinko had 2 long, nervous nights ahead of him. The Eberhardts owned a home computer, which Roy was allowed to use for homework assignments and for playing video snowboard games. He was good at browsing the internet, so with no difficulty, he was able to Google plenty of information about the burrowing owl. For instance, the type found in Florida went by the Latin name of Aphane cunicularia floridana and had darker feathers than the western variety. It was a shy little bird, and like other owls, was most active after dark. Nesting usually occurred between February and July, but fledglings had been observed in dens as late as October. Systematically, Roy scrolled down the search items one by one until he finally hit the jackpot. He printed out 2 single-spaced pages, zippered them into his backpack, and hopped on his bicycle. It was a quick ride to the Coconut Cove City Hall. Roy locked up his bike and followed the signs to the building and zoning department. Behind the counter stood a pale, freckle-faced man with pinched-looking shoulders. When the man failed to take notice of him, Roy boldly stepped forward and requested the file for Mother Paula's All-American Pancake House. The clerk seemed amused. Do you have a legal description? Of what? The property. Sure, it's the corner of East Oriole and Woodbury. The clerk said, that's not a legal description. It's barely even a proper address. Sorry, it's all I got. Is this for a school project? The clerk asked. Why not? Mused Roy. Yes, he said. He didn't see the harm in a tiny fib if it helped save the owls. The clerk told Roy to wait while he cross-checked the street location. He returned to the counter, carrying a fat stack of files in his arms. Now, which one of these did you want to see? He asked with a slight smirk. Roy stared in bewilderment. He had no idea where to begin. The one with all the construction permits, he said. The clerk pawed through the stack. Roy had a gloomy feeling that the forms and documents were written in such technical terms that he wouldn't be able to understand them anyway. It'd be like trying to read Portuguese. That file's not here, the clerk said, carefully tidying the tall pile. What do you mean? Roy asked. The folder with all the permits and inspection notices. It's been checked out, I guess. By who? I'll have to talk to my supervisor, the clerk said, and she's already left for the day. The office closes at 4:30 and it's already, 4:27. For emphasis, he tapped the face of his wristwatch. Okay, I'll be back tomorrow, Roy said. Maybe you should choose another topic for your project. The clerk's tone had an artificial politeness. Roy smiled coolly. No thanks, mister. I don't give up that easy. From City Hall, he rode his bike to a bait shop and, using a stash of leftover lunch money, bought a box of live crickets. 15 minutes later, he was sneaking through the junkyard. Mullet Fingers wasn't holed up in the ice cream truck, though his rumpled sleeping bag was still there. Roy waited inside for a while, but without AC it was unbearably hot and sticky. Before long, he was back on his bike, heading for the corner of East Oriole and Woodbury. The gate was padlocked. There was no sign of the grumpy bald foreman. Roy walked out along the outside of the fence, scouting for Beatrice's stepbrother or any clever surprises he might have left for the Pancake House people. Roy wouldn't have noticed anything unusual had he not spooked one of the owls, which flared from its burrow and landed in the cab of the bulldozer. That's when Roy saw the seat was missing. He immediately checked the other earth-moving machines and found the same thing. So that's what that kid was up to the other night, Roy thought gleefully. That's why he told me to bring a wrench. Roy walked back to the gate and opened the container of crickets and held it up to the fence. One at a time, the insects hopped out of the box, jumped through the chain-link holes, and landed on the ground. Roy was hopeful that the owls would find them once they came out of their dens for supper. He probably should have left when he heard the first honk, but he didn't. He knelt there patiently and waited until every last little cricket had vacated the box. By then, the honking had swollen to a steady blare, and the blue pickup truck was screeching to a stop. Roy dropped the box and jumped on his bike, but it was too late. The truck had blocked his escape. The beat-faced bald guy vaulted from the cab and hoisted the bicycle by its seat, Roy pedaling furiously in suspension. His feet were a blur, but he wasn't going anywhere. What's your name? What are you doing here? The foreman hollered. This is private property. Don't you know that? You want to go to jail, Junior? Roy stopped pedaling and caught his breath. I know what you're up to, the bald man snarled. I know your sneaky game. Roy said, Please, mister, let me go. I was only feeding the owls. The crimson drained from the foreman's cheeks. What owls? He said, not so loudly. There ain't no owls around here. Oh, yes, there are, Roy said. I've seen them. The bald guy looked extremely nervous and agitated. He put his face so close that Roy could smell cooked onions on his breath. Listen to me, boy. You didn't see no damn owls, okay? What you saw was a wild chicken. Roy stifled a laugh. I'm so sure. That's right. See, we got these dwarf chickens. Mister, what I saw was an owl, and you know it, Roy said, and I know why you're so scared. The foreman let go of Roy's bicycle. I ain't scared, he said stonily, and you didn't see no owls. Now get out of here and don't come back unless you want to go to jail like the last kid I caught trespassing. Roy carefully guided his bicycle around the pickup truck, then took off at full speed. They was chickens, the bald guy bellowed after him. Owls, Roy proclaimed triumphantly. Up the steep mountainside he went. That's what he was imagining anyway. That's what gave him the strength to push so hard. In reality, Roy was rolling along with East Oriole Avenue, which was as flat as a Mother Paula's pancake. He was very worried that the construction foreman would change his mind and chase after him. Any second, Roy would expected to hear honking behind him, curses in the wind, the pickup trucks trailing so closely that he would feel the heat off its big V8 engine. So Roy didn't look back, and he didn't slow down. He pedaled as fast as he could, his arms taut and his legs burning. He wouldn't stop until he reached the crest of his imaginary Montana mountain and coasted downhill into the coolness of the valley.